Hi everyone, it's Suzanne Venker. Okay, this question is from Anna. She says, Dear Suzanne, I've started considering marrying my current partner, which is exciting, but I'm also paralyzed by fear. My parents' marriage was a failure and ultimately ended in divorce. I don't want to go through the things I saw with them. How can I avoid my fear of commitment? Okay, I don't think anyone ever gets rid of the fears that were instilled in them growing up. I think they're manageable by using your head instead of your heart. So I think a better way of saying that is don't focus on your feelings, focus on what you know works, or what you've learned the hard way from watching your parents doesn't work. I think that's a real biggie. I think people, everyone's always searching for what is this perfect answer for how marriage works, and you're going to get a lot of different answers to that. And I find that what's actually better than that, especially since the answers so often differ, is to stay focused on what you don't want. So use that experience that your parents had, use their failures, if you will, to propel you forward in knowing what not to do. So whatever it was that you saw in their dynamic or in their story, you are going to specifically make sure that you do the opposite of whatever that is. And I'm sure if you came up with a list of, five really strong things that you saw that you knew were destructive, you make sure to do the exact opposite of that. That's one obvious answer to that. So I don't think, it's not that the fear is going to go away. It's just that you don't focus on it. You focus on what you know for a fact doesn't work based on having watched them. So you use it to your advantage. I guess that's the best way of putting it. And then I can't overstate the significance of choosing well. So this partner that you have, choosing well is half the battle. Once you've chosen, then there are specific things you can do for sure. But again, you'll get a lot of different answers on that. Choosing well, I don't think is talked about very much. Just like the knowing what not to do. I've covered this a few times with the other videos, but for example, you never want to marry somebody who's not on the exact same page as you are with respect to work and family. That was one of my more recent videos. And you don't want to marry somebody who doesn't have the exact same goals and values that you do. Because you can't change or marry values that don't match. They either do or they don't. That's much more difficult to work with than, say, personalities. So there are a couple of things to get down for sure that are sort of non-negotiables and obvious. But for me, the biggest thing I thought of with this question was knowing what not to do as opposed to knowing what to do. And then choosing well. Maybe your parents' story, how they got together, maybe they didn't choose well, and that had a lot to do with it. So you have to sort of sort through all this on your own. But the bottom line is, there's no reason that your story has to be your parents' story. It just doesn't. The fear may be there, but again, you don't focus on it. You focus on what you know doesn't work and go from there. And know that you can always have a completely different life. You're not doomed to your parents'. People do repeat their parents' mistakes, true, but that's generally people who are not reflective, who haven't been reflective and can't face exactly what it was that happened and really sought out a way to do it differently. So the bottom line is it can be done. So I wish you well. Thanks.